Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
Juice like it's Minute Maid, high-tech foe, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away, ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let him hate.
I ain't gonna lie, that may be actually one of the last times that you hear that intro, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Replay it if you need to, because I ain't playing it again. Did you replay it yet? If not, I'm sorry, because I have a bag to get to and a vibe to give you. By far the most tense, uneasy, and awkward situation in the league over the past month is all the fuss and commotion that has been going on in the H-Town, Houston. The Houston Rockets have had so many moving parts in such a short amount of time. The roots of this organization is no longer there, and a growing tree without its roots is no longer growing. It stops and it begins to rot. The Rockets organization is rotting right now as we speak. They're currently clinging onto their last good root, which is useless and just needs to be let go. Why haven't they let it go yet? If it isn't let go soon, then their entire tree, which has stood tall and strong for ages upon ages, will come crashing down in the most horrendous way possible. Before I spill the beans on my synopsis, here is why and how things led up to this point. The point to where it seems like Harden is untradeable. Not untradeable when it comes to himself and his value as if he deteriorated it or hurt it in any way, shape, or form. No. Hell no, that is not the case. James Harden is a generational talent. Regardless of what you have to say about him, hate him, love him, he is still one of the greatest. Point blank period. And when you have one of the greatest added on to your team, your favorite team has no choice but to be great or even greater than they originally were. Don't let the haters manipulate you into thinking Harden is a negative on the court, when in reality he's not. Now, does he have some issues on the court? Personality issues that might have lingered onto the court? Possibly, but that's just every single superstar in the league. Every superstar gets questions as to how they move on the court when it comes to certain things. But do not overthink this situation at all. Whenever a star player is on the market, of course hella teams are going to try to get him, but that does not mean that all teams can make something happen and make some shake at all. For some of you that may have not understood or fully grasped what I just said, let me put it to you like this. An easy analogy that I just created off the dome. Let's say a very, very hot, good-looking, beautiful girl just broke up with her boyfriend, or her boyfriend broke up with her, whatever, who cares, it doesn't matter. Just know that she's a single, beautiful young lady. That single, beautiful young lady is not gonna just talk to everybody, any dude that she sees out there at first glance. Literally, no girl would do that, or at least I hope no girl would do that. She's only going to spend her time and give a chance to the dude who seems like he's the most valuable, worth the investment, aka someone who can do the most for her, someone who's a good shoulder to cry on, someone who's good looking, someone who has a lot of money, someone who has a lot of potential. It doesn't matter. Whatever her standards are, her criteria are for the certain checklist that she has, she's gonna try to fulfill it, and the only way she can do that is by selecting the most valuable dude for her. She is not settling for no mid, so for my boy, I'm talking to you right now, like, bro, stop trying to talk to this girl and get in your bag, man. She don't want you, so go ahead and hop in your bag and make her want you. Anyways, I low-key know that I just dropped a couple gems on some dudes watching this video who stuck up on some girl. Bro, get in your bag. This analogy aligns perfectly with the Houston Rockets. Bro, the Houston Rockets are bougie out here. They're not just gonna accept anything walking their way. They're not gonna accept no mid. No, they have super high standards because of the package that they have on them. They got this hot stuff named James Harden on them, and they just can't hand it out to anybody. They're not gonna hand it out to anybody who can handle it. What do the Houston Rockets look like trading James Harden, an MVP, a multiple-time scoring champ, a top 5 player in the entire NBA, for Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie? I just want to slap you right now looking at me for even thinking of that trade. I know a lot of y'all thought that was a viable, fair trade for the Houston Rockets. Like, no, like, I love Karis LeVert and I love Spencer Dinwiddie, but hell no. The only teams that have a shot are Miami, Philly, and Denver if they really wanted to, but it doesn't make sense for anyone else. And if it does, then they don't have the assets, so it doesn't make sense for Houston. Now again, back to the girl analogy. Some girls are delusional, and they think that they deserve more than they're actually worth. Their egos are stupid high. And in this case, with the latest development, aka what happened on Twitter like 5-6 hours ago, the Houston Rockets are those girls again. They're delusional. What makes them think that they can can have Ben Simmons and a heap of picks alongside of him. Like, no, at this point, like, bro, who are you? You're getting really greedy and you need to settle down, and they need to be humble. What led me to making this video is those Ben Simmons talks specific. Now, as soon as news broke that Daryl Morey was talking to the Houston Rockets and those talks involves Ben Simmons, he quickly shut it down, quote unquote shut it down just like that, once those talks leaked on to sources. When I say sources, sources like Sham and Adrian Wojnarowski. And they got the snitching and told the entire internet world, and have people like me right now going crazy, talking at 100 miles per hour, speaking on this possible scenario. Daryl Morey quickly shut this down and said that Ben Simmons was going nowhere. Cut the cap. Who are you fooling? This doesn't make sense. There's no way in hell that James Harden gets traded to the Philadelphia 76ers without the Houston Rockets getting back Ben Simmons. It's just not happening. Daryl Morey literally said something super similar to this a couple months before he traded CP3 just a few years ago. He said that no, CP3 is not in trade talks, no, I'm not doing this and that, and he's not being involved in these conversations that I'm having with other teams. That was cap, and look at CP now. I assure you that those talks are certainly happening, but he's just trying to cover it up and not ruin team morale and have Ben Simmons act pissy and demand a trade and just cause hell in the front office and within the team. Now, I'm really talking about Philly a lot because I honestly feel like this trade is like destined to happen. I spoke on this trade happening months and months and months ago, way before anyone even thought of this idea. I believe that that is the most beneficial trade for both teams, but also I can't act like Philly is the only team that's in the running for James Harden. The Miami Heat also exists too, and I guess you can say that they have the assets for James Harden, but they just don't have as attractive assets for James Harden. Of course, they have Mans, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, and draft. They have all those attractive assets, but at the same time, I can assure you, none of those things hit the same as Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is someone you can build your franchise around and be perfectly fine. Just let that man go to work. Tyler Hero still has a lot to prove for me personally. I'm not sure if he can lead the franchise or be the face of the franchise just yet. I'm not willing to give him the keys. Y'all know that I'm in love with that man. To this day, I say that that man is better than RJ Barrett, and I'm sticking to that till the day that I die. Hopefully I don't die soon. But it's just not an as attractive trade for the Houston Rockets. If you're gonna trade James Harden, then you need to go out with a bang at least. Securing Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson is not really a bang in my mind. Great players, trust me, but it's not the greatest move if you ask me. It's not a bad one if they can do it. I mean, why not do it, I guess, but I wouldn't. I'd be too focused on Philly, and I honestly think that Philly is the right and perfect move for them. Just think about it. There might not be another superstar of this caliber ever again if they decided to get rid of one of their two stars. So this is the best opportunity that they'll ever have to capitalize on a moment like this. Otherwise, they'll have to settle for a lot of young assets and draft picks for eventually trading them Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons. This is the best opportunity, and it kind of sucks for Daryl Morey because I know that he wishes something like this happened at least at the end of the season, or maybe even in the middle of the season, not the beginning of the season when you just entered this GM spot and you want to see how these two work and whether or not what people are saying is really true or not. They can't win a championship together. Now, for me personally, I've always believed that the Philadelphia 76ers should end up trading Joel Embiid because, let's be honest, this is a guards league. And time again, history has shown us that 9 times out of 10, a guard is more likely to lead your team to the promised land than a center. The last time a center won an NBA championship and was the best player on the team while doing that was like 2011. Shout out to that man, Dirk. But they may end up doing the opposite of what I want them to do. But hey, remember, what I want them to do is pretty much irrelevant. Who am I? What's more important to know is that there's a whole bunch of stinginess going on right now. That is the real reason why Harden hasn't been traded yet. Houston refuses, as they should, to accept a bunch of, with all due respect, I love you, man, a whole bunch of mid and Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie from the Brooklyn Nets. I would block them if they call my number asking for James Harden in return for Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert. Like, ugh. They cannot do that to themselves. They cannot accept a bunch of borderline all-stars or role players or even hella picks just for James Harden. That'll be selling themselves short. But at the same time, they may be overpricing themselves with Philly when it comes to wanting Simmons with multiple picks. They're making Daryl Morey's life a lot harder than it should be. But can I blame them when he said something like this?
Shit, because you know, someone asked me who's a better scorer, him or Michael Jordan, and it's just factual that James Harden is a better scorer than Michael Jordan.
Based on the math.
Based on literally, like, you give James Harden the ball, and before you're giving up the ball, how many points do you generate, which is how you should measure offense.
There is a tug-of-war going on, a war of egos, and it won't be long enough until the last root is tore. This is the end of the video though, man. I really do appreciate you for coming over here on my channel and seeing what I have to talk about today. It was currently 4 a.m. in the morning. One thing that I gotta say is that, bro, my mom hates when I wear this do-rag in videos, and she just hates when I do it in general. Bro, I have to get my ways. Mom, if you're watching this, I'm like so sorry, but at the same time, I kinda don't care. So, for you guys watching this video, just know that I sacrificed my waves and, you know, my behind and the potential butt whooping that I could be getting after this video. Go ahead, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that. Do all that, follow me on Instagram, and also, I really hope that you go ahead and capitalize on your day and make your day great. For real, bro. Until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made the surf, free the way, told my girl who'd ever thought.